Hello, listeners. In this episode, I'm going over my top yaoi slash boys love manga for the month of May 2021. This is the list of yaoi manga, manhwa, and webtoon that I think are the best stories to try for the month of May. Be sure to watch all the way through to get my full analysis on each of the series. I'll go over the summary, news, and why you should read it. But before we get started with this episode, I just want to remind our viewers that if you like seeing more yaoi content and would like to support this channel, please don't forget to smash that like button. Also, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Feel free to message me in my social media at ZEALED FUJOSHI, which I'll be using to interact with viewers about more yaoi content. If that's something that interests you, feel free to follow me at ZEALED FUJOSHI. Finally, this video will contain a lot of explicit content. With that in mind, please proceed with caution. You have been warned. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the first series on my list. Burlesque Night by Nagi Wataru. Lots of drama, but also a great dose of romance. This series is a bodyguard by Burlesque Boys Love. Came here for the cover and didn't regret anything at the end. And yes, this is a super hot and super sexy series. Kuroba got a private and exclusive striptease from Kaide. He's such a lucky man. Frick this. This series is so freaking wholesome. It's cute, it's smexy, and everything all at the same time. I didn't expect to love this series so much. Every chapter is just so good. The plot, the storyline, the smex, everything. And don't get me started with the art style. It's so freaking beautiful. Kaide and Kuroba are both beautiful in this series. I can't even start with how beautiful it is. I'm just so proud of Kaide overcoming everything he has gone through in life. And I'm so glad he has Kuroba now to remind him that he is really well loved and really worthy of love every day. Guy who strip teases and then falls in love with an ex-boxer who is now his bodyguard. Overall, it's an extremely sweet love story between a man who is afraid to love and a man who is willing to protect him. Now, for the second series on this list is, please excuse me if I butcher the title of the series, but I'm gonna try my best. It's called Unmei no Kisu wa Oazuke by Nagatsuki Hakka. And I'm just gonna start with, wow, if there's an award for the most girlish looking uke in boys love history, this manga would get it from me. The Omega Nanao hates alphas. Then why is he working at a host club that serves alphas? Given context provided by the story, he isn't really forced to work in this strip host club, just letting you know. He isn't even trying to stealthily use the power he has with this job to get back at alphas in any way at all. He just goes to work and does his job and remains annoyed most of the time. Like, I get it that it's common in Omegaverse for Omegas to have trouble finding jobs, but if anyone would be the exception, it would be Nanao. He has the anger and drive to want to show the alphas up, but to continue to be underfoot of them in this job. You know, he's kind of like a dishonest character. And to be honest, the level of dislike that Nanao harbors towards alphas feels like it needs more backstory to it too. All Omegas have reasons to be salty about their sitch, but this particular Omega has anger above and beyond that. And it should be explained. You know, like, whatever it is, just anything. I wish that this series explains that. Meanwhile, the analytical and deliberate Arisaka is the alpha and is characterized to be in the story. And to be honest, the story should have allowed him to overcome all of the alpha urges to completely break convention. Like, have him able to resist the pull of Nanao's Omega hit as if it was nothing. They kind of do this at the end of the story though, but not at the beginning where it matters the most. This would have given Nanao an actual reason to start to like Arisaka as being the exception to the usual alpha in a way that Nanao can respect. But man, this story had the whole fated pair trope. It did nothing with it at all. If you're going to write a fated pairing story, you need to go one of the two roads. One, the character hates each other, screw or get a bite bonded in a moment of passion and have to deal with despising each other for the rest of eternity while being unable to separate. Or number two, have an eternal force keep the fated pairing apart and the two characters struggle tirelessly to be together. If you're just going to write a standard character meet and bicker initially, then grow to like each other kind of story, man, you really don't need the fated pair plotline for that. And it's better if you don't, because it just feels like pandering, to be honest. The fated pair trope presence in the story needs to mean something and needs to be central to the conflict in a way that's more meaningful than just typical relationship development, you know? Kind of ironic how Nanao kept on bitching about how alphas kept on treating omegas like property and in a very derogatory manner, while he himself worked in a night business to satisfy and serve alphas through sexual means. Also found a bit immature when he immediately jumped to conclusions and fled to his partner when he literally just said he probably shouldn't work in this job anymore. The reason him saying that are quite obvious, of course. The fact that the Omega worked as a prostitute, however, wasn't something that I usually like, but at the same time, I loved how the alpha told him that it was him who belonged to Nanao when they finally mated, and that made this series good to me. Usually alphas are commanding jerks, and most stories make it seem as if the fated pairs, you know, the Omega belongs to the alpha like property. And this series completely changed that mentality. I just want to wish that I really wish that this series was a bit longer. I kind of feel like it was rushed. I can't feel any empathy for their feelings. Other than that, Arisaka being the way that he is so freaking perfect. And now kind of looks like a woman, which makes this series pretty unique on its own. And to be honest, even when he was wearing a suit, I'm sitting like, It might have been like, I'm not comfortable with how it looks for health reasons, but okay, he blows out the room conversation. Could have had their problems resolved. Other than that, this series is the bomb. Now, for the third entry for this list, and I'll probably botch this title again, but please excuse it. The name of the third entry for this list is called Usagi-chan Doshikori Moushiagemasu by Misaka Niumu. And I just want to say, dear author, thank you for this wonderfully scrumptious yaoi that you provide us with. Your work has been the beacon to my life as a fujoshi. And now that I have read this beautiful work of art, I can finally rest in peace and wait for another chapter, knowing that it will not disappoint. Once again, thank you for your hard work, and please provide us Fujoshis with the blessings of your work. Sincerely, another Fujoshi. But seriously though, I need more. And oh, I don't care if all of the semis and the ukes from this author looks the same. I don't freaking care, because I think that's what makes it hot, and the author seems to have their own interest for those kinds of semis and ukes. I really feel like how the ukes have a well-built body, yet that hot, innocent look on their face, damn! The semis in this one is somehow really attractive though, and I love the way he tries to get the uke to like him, not only by doing sex intercourse, even though using money was never a good way as well anyway. All the consent checks up. Consideration and caring for your partner is so freaking great in this series. The switch up, having the more buff and punk types be like uke, was really refreshing. The characters are all nice and honest people, and the art style is super cute. Definitely a must-try series. Now for the fourth entry in this list, which is kind of easy of a title after all of those hard titles to say, is a simple title called Club Naked by Sagawa Miku. And the title speaks for itself, right? It does, and yet here's a review you didn't ask for. The author male strip club experience was gold. Tachibana is our main character. He's got a good job, but is basically unfulfilled. After going to a strip club with some of his female coworkers one day, he discovers what he's been missing his whole entire life: Leo. Leo is the lead dancer of Club Naked and becomes the sole reason why Tachibana becomes a regular at the club. They don't know each other at first, but the more Tachibana comes to the club, the more Leo is interested in the new regular. And they do eventually become acquaintances, and then perhaps a bit more. Listen, this story is short and fun and ridiculous. There aren't many surprises, but that is not why I read it. I do wish the main story was longer though. There is a second story about two of the other dancers at the club that I would have liked to see more of as well, but that's my main complaint. Neither couple gets much time and depth as I would have wanted. But again, it's a short manga. Good story though, but nothing particularly life-changing. But I still definitely recommend this series. Now comes the fifth and the last entry on this list, called Blind Play by YD and Laic. If you're a big Killing Stalking fan, you would love this manhwa. To be honest though, I read this series because of the cover. I thought that it would be all cute and fluffy, but I got scammed. Maybe I'm completely fricked up, but this series is so hot, to be honest. If you're a big fan of Killing Stalking, hear thee, I shall now make a prediction. This series, the killer will either fall in love with the main character in his own crazy killer way And then the main character shall be scared shitless of him but loves the sex. In the end, the main character will end up killing the killer, and he will feel one of two ways. One, he will have developed feelings and become more attached but killed him because he knew he had to. Or two, he will hate his guts and kill him because fuck him. I think I would be a tragic, crazy love ride or so, but I still like this one. Of course, there's also the third option that they become killers together and live happily ever after. Wild, but this is one and very unlikely to happen, to be honest. We started this knowing that it would be tragic. We like some tragedy and steamy killer sex. Man, after hearing myself say that, I know how fucked up it is, but I swear to God, this is one of the best psychological manhwas out there right now. Damn, imagine being a fan of your idol and then your idol just stabs your throat. What an honor. I was like telling myself, don't go reading a horror manhwa, but here I am because the plot is amazing, guys. Why do I hate the guy that cheated more than the actual killer? That's how freaked up I am after reading this series. Anyway, I highly recommend this series. Just a note though, if you don't like the psychological horror kind of series, avoid this series at all costs. But if you were a big fan of killing stalking, this is the series to read. Anyway, that wraps up all of our recommendations for the month of May. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you got some good information on what to read next. Remember to read the summary of each series before investing time and money to read any of the series I recommended, because my recommendation might not be your cup of tea. I hope you enjoyed today's episode though. Please don't forget to follow my social media to be teased about some of the boys' love that I'm interested in. Feel free to leave me a message and converse with me in my new Discord channel. I'd love to hear back from you. And please consider supporting the show by donating as little as 99 cents. Yes, you heard that right. 99 cents through www.sealedfujoshi.xyz. Also, don't forget to support the authors. All the manhwa and manga details can be found in the description below. Again, thank you so much and hope to see you next time.